How does that work? That must just record the sound?
And audio, picture and sound.
So it must flash back and forth who's talking somehow?
Yeah, when you talk, you come up big on the screen, so it'll capture that. And then whoever's showing up in the participant panel.
Okay.
Hello, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Do we have Tom and Joanne?
Yes, you do.
I
Hello,
see
Joanne.
There you
Joanne.
are. There you are. I didn't see you on my screen.
I don't see her face. I just see her name.
Hi, Judy.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good.
Is that, what do we got, a minute?
Is that a Willow sighting?
Yes,
Is Willa going to be enjoying us tonight too?
I don't think so. I think she was able 2 weeks ago to see Democracy at Work, and that was enough for her.
It's kind of boring, I'm sure.
Hopefully she got an A.
Okay. All right, so if I'm looking at this clock right, it's 7
7.
o'clock.
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. It's February 23rd, 2021, 7 p.m. I'm Rob Hellstrom, Deputy Selectman. Steve is away this evening. First, I'll read the rules of conduct. Rules of conduct for a virtual meeting. This is a web-based call, so we are operating under the following procedure. This session is being both video and audio recorded. Board members and staff will generally remain on mute, except when speaking or voting, and will generally be keeping video of themselves on throughout the meeting. If a member of the public creates an audio or video disruption, they may be manually ejected from the meeting upon recommendation of the staff or the first selectman. For public input before the meeting, please email your comments to publicinput@columbia.org within 24 hours before the meeting. For public input during the meeting, your comments can be submitted through the chat feature in Zoom meeting, or wave your hands and request your mic to be unmuted. Please include in both methods your name and address. Okay, as we've been doing throughout the series, we'll have a moment of silence for those who are no longer with us due to the pandemic. Thank you. Okay, everyone's seen the agenda. I move to approve the agenda as stated. Any questions? Okay, all in favor, Lisa? I can't hear Lisa.
You're muted, Lisa. I think she's okay.
All right, Judy,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes,
Rob, yes. Okay,
Yes, I was trying to get my documents up. Sorry about that.
there you go. Minutes from the February 16th meeting. I move that we accept the minutes of the February 6th meeting. Any questions, additions, or changes? Hearing none. All in favor of approving the minutes? Lisa,
Yes,
Judy,
Yes.
Bill,
yes.
Rob, yes. Okay. Mark, we have any audience of citizens?
Let me check my chat area.
Need help with that?
Okay, there's nothing in the chat. And is anybody raising a hand? I don't seem to see anything. I think we're good.
Okay, then first thing on the agenda is 6.1, question and answer, budget discussion for Columbia Volunteer Fire Department. And how we want to handle this, Mark? I know we got guests to speak.
I would roll it over to either Steve or Tom. They can decide who would like to present and let them tell us about their budget and some of the reasons and justifications for the increases they're asking for.
Certainly, thank you. I'll start us off. My name is Tom Doyle. I serve as the president of the Columbia Volunteer Fire Department on the business side, if you will, and I serve as an EMS lieutenant on the operational side. Steve, you want to introduce yourself?
Yep, for those who don't know me, Steve Postemski, I'm the new fire chief. I believe actually I've met everyone that's on tonight, so I've been tasked with running the show over here. But Tom's going to start off with our little presentation that we have and just explain some of the big bullet points, and then we can go from there with any of the questions that you guys have about specific things.
Thank you. We've gone forward and had a discussion with both Mark and Steve with a more detailed line item budget type summary. So we provided that. So for the sake of this meeting, I provided 3 attachments. And I know Jennifer, I'd seen an email where you forwarded it, I believe electronically or in hard copy form to everybody. So there should be 3 different documents. One is a graphic with Connecticut towns. The second one is a bar graph that shows our activity, and I can explain what these are. And the other one was, I tried to summarize, I tried to fit everything on one page, how the Columbia Volunteer Fire Department budget is broken down from a functional standpoint for someone that doesn't want to look at all the details. Has anyone not received a copy of those 3? If you can give me like a thumbs up if you've at least seen the documents I'm referring to.
I've got 2 of them.
Okay. 2 as in 2 of the 3?
Yes.
Okay. Which of the 2? Do you have the 2 graphics, but not the?
Maybe I don't have that. I got page 1 and page 2, I guess, unless I'm looking at the wrong thing. One's the incident report by year. Is that what we're looking at?
I'm not sure if everybody.
Yes. Incident by year summary, and then a map.
That's the bar graph.
I just didn't get the map, so don't worry. I'll
Okay. Okay. The 4-column document is really what I wanted to offer to you as a summary, but also to look at a financial breakdown of how the department is pretty much structured. Under the personnel costs, you see 74,500. If you were to look at a volunteer fire department, that's basically 21% of our budget. The things with respect to the building, the actual structure here at 167 Route 66, that's 60,000. The things it takes to run the organization, administrative equipment, insurance, legal fees, things of that nature, another 76,000 roughly. So that's about 39% of our budget. So what it takes for us to provide fire and EMS services to the town of Columbia is that $140,100. And those are high level categories, but the chief and I are here to hopefully let you ask questions if you feel there's a need to get more clarification on what it is that, if you look at the breakout, the town of Columbia does provide us with $241,000 in this new budget. So we want to make sure that, number one, you know what we do and how we do it. And number 2, that we are trying to exercise as much fiscal prudence as possible to make sure that we're doing the best we can with what we have for the town of Columbia. And the reason I phrase it that way is we often go on calls and people think we are a paid department. And it's a very interesting observation that we picked up on. And part of our, if you look under personnel again, there's PR. We're trying to get the word out through social media, through the Columbia Views. We'd like to get our activities out to the Columbia population in a better way so that people know, A, who we are, and B, how we do what we do and why we do it. Because this for us is, we provide a volunteer service to our town. This is not our job. And we want them to know that it's very important for us to do the best we can to service the needs of the town of Columbia. And we look at that in the bullets down the bottom. We've tried to look at that 74,000 as we're investing in our people. If you're running a company, normally salary and payroll costs are usually in that, say, 30% range. So we have a very small percentage of our actual cash outlay goes to what we give our people. And those offset some of the expenses. I mean, think about it. When you drive to a call, you spend a couple of bucks on gas, and part of that remuneration is about $4 per call. In terms of surrounding towns, the fact that we have been able to maintain our volunteer status is a testament to the dedication of the people here. The reason for the graphic now is, if you look at the graphic, the two light ones are Columbia and Andover. We're the only two volunteer fire associations that have ambulances that actually transport patients that don't have either paid staff or some kind of stipend program where they pay per call. We have seen since 2005 a 64% increase in our call volume, and the lion's share, almost 2/3 of those are EMS. So a lot of people think of a fire department as going on fire calls, which we do, and these are a lot of emergencies, but our membership spends time at trees and wires down, blocking roads and securing them, so that the apparatus do go out for those. We've pumped out 2 feet of water from people's basements. These are the types of emergency services that we provide to people when power goes out. We also provide the cost, the revenue for our ambulances. Down the bottom, you can see our next ambulance may cost us $311,000. Back in 2009, we bought what we call ambulance 605. And in 2015, we bought the second ambulance. So we've incurred $365,450 to acquire those with the revenues that we get from our calls. We anticipate having to get a new ambulance in the near term, but that's not going to be on the town of Columbia. We do appreciate the capital outlays for the fire apparatus, but as far as 64% of our business is EMS related, that's where we have to maintain those things, and we pay for that out of our budget. For example, we lost a turbo on one of our ambulances, and we had to come up with, I think it was $2,400 for that. I'd like to, at this point, just if anything, brings up a question, or if you had questions after looking at this, I'd like to let the chief and I be here to provide answers to you as to what it is we do or how we do it. And then if there's a question about numbers, we can provide that. I'll open it up to the board. Lisa.
So just to be clear, that on your breakdown of costs and all that, the Columbia Volunteer Fire Department contribution of 110,000, that's money from EMS calls?
That's correct.
That's just was my only question.
So we get insurance money? Do you charge the insurance companies for the ambulance calls, or?
There is a series of reimbursement rates. Yes, it goes from private pay to Medicare, Medicaid, and commercial insurance. Yes.
So if people can't pay, then it just gets a write-off? Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay.
And also included in that, there's a thing under fire operational ALS subsidy. We have to pay for Wyndham paramedics if they provide services as well. So that's whatever's reimbursed. There's a formula for it, but we have to pay them as well. We pay them a service fee for the year, and then we have a per call charge on top of that.
Now, the number of incidences have gone up significantly in, say, the past 15 years. I mean, do you anticipate it going up even more?
The reason for that graph was you can do your own extrapolation there without being a math major. It has been a very steady call increase. The nature of our calls, if you notice, there aren't too many big bumps. You might think that we get a lot of calls when there's a hurricane or something like that, but there might be some slight bumps. 2000, I believe the hurricane was 2013, right?
I think so. I don't
I
remember.
think when the town was dark.
Right, right.
Irene was 11.
So
Alfred
if you
was-
look at 2013 with the
Sandy.
536, that's not a large call volume. We might get 20 or 30 calls, maybe more in that day, that 24-hour period. But if you look, it has been a steady progression of calls. I can't attribute that to anything in particular. I have no idea about the demographics of the population in terms of age. I don't know if it's more seniors or whatever, but it has been pretty steady and pretty consistent.
Except 2016, it went down
Yep,
for some reason.
Not a lot.
you could look at 2012 very similarly.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Well, if you took out 2011, it's pretty smooth.
Correct.
That's what kind of screws it up. Other than that, it's very smooth increase.
yeah.
And that's all calls, fire, accidents, pumping out basements and EMS.
The things of that nature, Lisa, are referred to as service calls.
Mhm.
So there are emergency and non-emergency calls where, we would consider an emergency call something that requires lights and sirens. A service call being something, somebody might say, look, can you help me get in the door? It's not like we go up for looking for cats in the trees, but we'll try to provide help to people.
Just interesting. It keeps going up.
Yes, it is. And
Yeah.
there is something to keep in mind. There are statistics, and the chief can probably address this better than I, but there's a magic number of about 1,000, and it becomes mathematics. Once you hit about that 1,000 call a year threshold, you are pretty much stressing out the ability of a volunteer service to provide it without going to paid staff. I mean, if you just look at it, that's roughly, 2.5 calls a day. And calls like this can be very tough. I mean, if there's a call at 2:00 in the morning, someone like myself, you feel it for a couple of days if you wake up.
And what happens during the day when people are working? I always want, because you're going to get calls during the day. You get calls all the time.
Internally, we lovingly call it the day shift. And it is an ongoing challenge for all departments.
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
We were able to very, very efficiently and very, I think, fortunately, we're able to get our 2 fire trucks over to Whitney Road the other day in a very quick fashion. I'm not sure what the response time was, Chief. How long did it take us to get there?
Yeah, so real quick about Whitney Road, if I'm sure you guys are wondering about, from the time that dispatch took the first call and started generating the call and we arrived on scene within 8 minutes, which is pretty unheard of for a volunteer department. Just to address a few things you guys brought up, 2011, I think that big increase was actually the big power outage, the October storm,
Okay.
Halloween storm, where we were out of power for like a week, I think, here in town for most people.
That was Alfred.
Yeah,
That was a hurricane followed by a snowstorm.
yeah.
Right.
So, but as you can see, yes, we're steadily on the increase. Our population is aging to an extent, and so is our department. I think I did the numbers, and our average age for member is 44 years old right now. We're not getting the younger people into town and to stay in town. We have developed a cadet program to help with that, but unfortunately they go off to college and aren't really coming back into town. So that goes also with our request for kind of our PR. We want to recruit whatever volunteerism that is still left in this town, let people know that what we do. We did a big campaign actually just with that fire. If any of you guys have seen it, the close the door. there was a great picture, if you haven't seen on our Facebook page, and that's already reached, we put it out this morning, that's already reached over 6,500 people
Wow.
through social media. And that's just us kind of Joe Blows that don't know much about it, that are just kind of copy and pasting and posting something on Facebook. We want to get out there with like a mailer and really reach out to everyone and show them what we do. We have other things that we're doing here other than the fire and emergency services. We have some, we had that, I applied for a grant through Energizer and got a lot of 9-volt batteries that we were giving out. Unfortunately, it kind of happened in the middle of COVID, so that made it a little difficult. But we have smoke detectors that we try to give out. We have the toy drive and the touch a truck. So we're doing a lot of other stuff for the community, and we want people to know that and share that.
Thank you for your good work.
Yeah, you guys do a great job.
Yeah, we're very fortunate.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when
Yeah,
my neighbor's shed burned, you saved the house. The shed was gone before you got there, but you were there within 10 minutes.
And in terms of response, that last bullet is in there, the 2020 CVFD average 6.2 members per call. I'm not sure the exact quantity, but there's a process called mutual aid. And mutual aid is when Hebron has a problem, we can go there, and vice versa. Lebanon has a problem, Andover or Willimantic. So we all share resources, but we've been very fortunate in that if you look at that personnel side of the business, not the cost, but the people side of it, we have 6 people on average that want to show up for a call.
That's amazing.
And it says a lot. They want to come. Yes, they want to help people, but I mean, they want to be part of that response and providing that service. And we want to keep that. We got to find more people. We just had 2 new folks come on board who are, let's just put it this way, over the average age, if you will. And that is, I'll be honest, I joined the department 9 years ago. I joined at 55. And I think we are looking at different types of positions that we can have here. We spend an enormous amount of time doing multiple jobs. Okay, so I'm the president, I'm an EMT, so I go on calls, and EMS lieutenant, but we have meetings. I also provide quality assurance on the calls. So our goal is to increase our membership through these recruitment and PR campaigns, because we're doing multiple jobs, most of us. I would say the average officer has at least 2, if not 3 positions that they're working on, in addition to doing the responses.
Now, I've always wondered, I know you do a lot with other towns. Is there any way we could coordinate with other towns to try to share things more to save money? I don't know. I mean, it takes some of the control away when you do that kind of stuff. But I always wondered if that could work better.
All right, let me point something out. You asked about day shift. If you look at the second bullet, Hebron recently brought 2 EMTs on staff. And that means 2 people to sit in an ambulance, not maintain it, not do the inventory, not pay for the cost of the vehicle. That's the salary for 2 EMTs to be available for 8 hours, 5 days a week. That's it.
Yep.
So that's in addition to their maintainers? Oh,
So this is 2 people that they're putting on to cover their overnight shift. I think it's like a 11 to 7 or 12 to 8 type shift, and that
So
is
they're just waiting.
they're just salary just for the ambulance, and they're just EMTs. So if there is a house fire across the street from the firehouse, they can sit there in their ambulance and watch it, but that's all what they're hired for in that position. In regards to like the mutual aid, we do a great job with that already. As hired the other day, it's automatically started. We know that we need their resources to help with fires and incidents, and we reciprocate that. From fire to EMS calls, if their ambulance is busy, we can send ours to another town, and then and share that way. And we kind of, it's not really a cost to one or another. We try to, I'll take the lump this day and you can take the lump next day type thing.
You help each other out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's constant. I mean, we don't have hydrants around here, for example. So we have a very large vehicle called our tanker. When that call came out, we dispatch, depending on what the officer in charge determines is the water need, we may have tankers from 3 or 4 different towns coming in to provide us water because we don't have a hydrant to hook up to.
Right.
And when you have 750 gallons of water on a truck, you're out in a matter of a couple of minutes. When you have 2 hoses actively fighting the fire, that one truck is only good for under 10 minutes, 5 minutes sometimes.
Wow.
And that's not a lot of fire to put out. So, that's why getting the first the first fire truck in, the second fire truck hooks up, and then you want to have some more water supply. We all have to work together. I mean, the folks from Heben were right in back of me, hooked up to me, providing water, and that's the way you have to do it.
Yeah. Like I said, I've always felt you guys do a great job.
And they do.
And
Hey, Tom or
Consist-
Steve, can you explain in the capital request, the SUV? I know it's clear on the rescue truck, what we're trying to achieve.
yeah,
But the replacement,
yep. So we're looking to replace our service truck, which is Service 105. It's the 2009 Ford. It was originally purchased when we had a trailer and it was utilized to tow a lot of things and hasn't been that practical, efficient. We were looking to go to more of a SUV style, I don't know, a Tahoe Explorer, something like that, that can assist with bringing these extra members to follow the ambulance, to help out with lifting, or to bring manpower to calls in a more efficient way. And also when we have members that go for outside training to other towns, instead of taking a fire apparatus in essence to another town 20, 30 minutes away, we're taking a lot more practical of a vehicle that can carry more people and move people around that way.
So it's a big SUV.
Yeah. I think we look at like a Tahoe style or something along those lines that we can fit easily 4, 5, 6 people in.
Mm.
It's definitely a multi-purpose vehicle, intention being for transporting, but also in the case of a major incident, the officer in charge has to set up and do a lot of directing and interacting with a lot of other people that could act as their command station. You have to have multiple radios active, things of that nature. So it probably serves 4 or 5 different purposes for us.
Okay. Now, one of the questions I had, could you lease it and pay less money, get the same vehicle, but instead of purchasing it, lease it for, and I don't know, I know it sounds like you have to put other equipment on it and may not work out. I was just trying to look at ways to get the same thing, but maybe do it a different way.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm not sure with leasing, because of the modifications that we have to do to it.
Right. I don't know if yeah.
We do look at like state bids though, and going
Okay.
through them to get obviously the best price for this, and even some of the other possible people in town or business owners in town, and see what they can do for us as taxpayers and supporting.
Sometimes that works. And then you advertise their, dealership on your car or on the SUV.
Yeah, we look at all options just to get obviously the best price for the product.
Right. I mean, it sounds like you need it. It's just getting it, at the least cost would be nice.
With respect to lease cost, I do want to point out that 6 of our last 11 budgets have been 0% increases. We've tried to be extremely fiscally prudent every way that we possibly could. So we constantly do that. And we do a lot of work. We don't do a lot of outsourcing of tasks here. I mean, sure, we have guys come in with a truck and plow for the bigger snow, but we're out there shoveling and we have a snow blower and, you know, we blow the sidewalks off, things of that nature. We do some of the gardening work here. We trim the bushes when they get, you know, so we don't just spend money for the sake of spending money.
Right.
No, you guys are very efficient. We're blessed.
Good point.
Yeah, just to follow up with Tom's point about the past budgets, going over this and this being my first time with the actual looking at the numbers. Again, yes, we were very, very prudent and we always wanted to do the best for the town. We're all taxpayers ourselves. We never wanted a increase. But we are unfortunately having to play a little bit of catch up. As you can see with the graph, our call volume increased.
Mhm.
That just means increased fuel, increased heating and electricity, increased supplies that we probably should have been a little bit more just for, kind of pushing for a little bit that we didn't. And
Okay.
I, by any means, do not expect a 14.5% increase every year or anything like that. This is just unfortunately to kind of get back up to our minimum to operate and to provide the excellent service that we do, and to keep the members that we got and try to find the few more that are out there that want to help out. We have that unfortunate elephant in the room on that sheet of next door, what Coventry pays. And that's just a scary number for anyone to jump to that kind of increase,
Yeah.
the 510.
And that's not their fire department, that's their EMS cost. So when we use the phrase Columbia Volunteer Fire Department, it's, again, this is part of our PR campaign for making sure the town is aware, but 64% of what we do, that data point that I put there, is EMS related. We don't go out with a fire truck and we don't go out with a tanker and put out a fire. Those are using the 2 ambulances that we pay for. We buy them and we maintain them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think they've covered things pretty well. Anyone else have any other questions?
No.
Well said.
All right. Thank you very much for coming and introducing this to us. I learned a lot. I'm
Yeah, I
very,
did too.
appreciative.
You guys,
Thank
you guys do a great job.
Thank you.
I've always been pleased.
We will gladly share that with the membership at our next monthly meeting. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great.
Thanks,
Please
guys.
do.
Yeah. Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you guys again.
But
for
it is good to know how you manage it too.
Oh yeah, and I wanted to make sure that
Thank
we
you.
were doing our part in showing that you guys how we utilize the town's money, and it's not just a frivolous expense here or there and stuff. We want to account for every dollar and make sure it's getting its full worth.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, thanks again, folks. Good evening.
Okay.
Thank
Have a good evening. Thank you. Okay, moving on. I guess there's nothing under new business. Columbia Lake Dam Beach. Let's see, what do we got here? Application for 9 Newford Drive for a ski mobile, what do they call them? Jet ski
Jet ski.
landing.
It's a lift attached to a dock to support a jet ski.
All right, go back for a minute. I see on 6.1, we had other departments as well. Were we supposed to hear from anybody else?
No, just the fire department tonight.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Okay, back to the jet ski. Looks like, let me see, there's something else here too. Looks like we have 2 copies of the same thing. Anything special on this, Mark? It looks like it's pretty straightforward.
No, it's just 2 supports that'll be screwed into the base of the lake and will support the jet ski lift.
Okay, I move that we approve this jet ski pad, 9 Newford Drive, under the conditions that Lomac suggested. Any questions? All in favor, Lisa,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Rob, yes. Okay, next. Appointments and resignations. We have someone leaving open space. What is that? Okay. Shirley King is asking to be, or she's resigning from the open space committee. I guess they need to accept her resignation. Bill,
Yes,
Judy,
Yes, I'm sorry to see her go. Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
and Rob, yes, yes. I wish sometimes we could say no and make them stay, but it doesn't work that
I
way.
know. She's been on a long time. That's too bad.
Yeah, she has. Okay, unfortunately, we have Ron Wilcombe, who I don't know, who would like to, I guess apparently would like to take her place. Apparently, did you talk with him, Mark?
Yes, and Ron is on the, he's on the Wetlands Commission. He's
Okay.
been doing that for a long time, but his passion is with open space and he wants to be part of it. So I'm sure he'll be a very active member.
Good.
Excellent. All right, all in favor? Lisa,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
Bill,
yes.
Rob, yes. Okay, that takes care of that. Good. Town administrators report.
Just real quick, we're doing a really good job getting people lined up for their COVID tests. We've got Bernadette and Katie both helping, and we have 2 volunteers that are helping. And the governor just came out with a whole new schedule, all age related. So many of our employees that are above 55 will now be eligible come March 1st. And then I think it's later in March, under 55. The next decade will be going. So it looks like if they ramp
Oh,
up the
cut
way
it
it
out.
sounds. What's that?
Oh, sorry.
We seem to be doing well getting the shots out. So we just pray that it goes quickly and we can get this under control and somewhat back to normal, but we'll find out. We're at the meantime taking advantage of not using a lot of these rooms. Like the conference room is being renovated right now. Senior Center just got all painted inside. So we're taking advantage of this opportunity. Plus, Town Hall is still being used by all our residents. It's just by appointment, and that's working out really well. So all the employees are pitching in, and we haven't missed a beat. And that's all I have, Rob.
Okay, just from my experience getting the shots up, Ginny went to the convention center and I went to a place in Norwich and it was just very well run. I mean,
Yeah.
you're hardly there at all. And you just basically walk in, they give you a shot, you sit for 15 minutes and go home. It was very nice surprise and hopefully it continues that way for everybody.
Yeah, I went to Rensselaer over in East Hartford. It was about an hour, but it went smoothly. It seemed very organized.
It took me a half hour, Ginny a half
Yeah.
hour too.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's great. Am I looking, we don't have any correspondence budget? We're not doing anything with budget transfers or refunds?
No, just mostly a
Okay,
workshop
Bill,
meeting.
any other audience of citizens? Anyone that wants to make a comment at this point?
Okay, nothing in chat. And I don't see any hands. And then public input, well, we only check that 24 hours in advance. So, and there was nothing on public input.
Okay, and board member comments. Anyone have something they want to say?
Nope.
Hearing nothing else? I move that we adjourn, thank you, with the meeting.
Well done.
Yes, well done.
Good job, Rob.
It was a quick meeting. You did well.
All right,
Yeah.
Bill, I gotta do the roll first. Bill?
What's the question?
We
You
gotta
want to
adjourn.
adjourn?
To adjourn.
I move to adjourn the meeting. Bill?
I'm all set with that. It sounds good.
Okay. All right. I think we're all set. Have a good
Have a good
evening,
night, everyone.
everybody.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Night.
Good
Okay,
night.
good night.
Good night.
Night.
Good night. Thank you.